Well, at the moment, Joe is not here yet, but I guess let's get started anyway. It's 8 o'clock. Let's start with the ceremonial squid. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to get this started at some point. Oh, 1 second. So I haven't played this one, so I'm just getting a guide of where all the, like, what order I should be doing all of this in. Because apparently if you do it in like not a good order, you just constantly have to jump around. I'd just rather get all the areas done in one go. Burrow Hill after to go to Thorn Garden. Okay. What do I even have?
The team we dispatched to the abandoned Hilda facility has been annihilated. They were sent on a fact-finding mission concerning research that Zeo Matrix is conducting there. According to the tragedy's sole survivor, the team was attacked by something enormous.
Helpful.
We were skeptical, but then we saw what had been done to the pilot and his AC. Whatever this thing was, it had no problem taking down a team of highly trained professionals. Information is still sketchy, and there isn't nearly enough to formulate a plan, but we must take action nonetheless. Please enter the facility. Identify the threat and then eliminate it. Anyone or anything that opposes you should be considered hostile and be dealt with appropriately.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Or just these things again. I fought a bunch of these in the desert a little bit ago. Expecting something different. I guess opposed to the ones in Armored Core, I think it was 1. This is the flare of the enemies they're using. So those weird white four-legged things.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
It was lowering the volume a bit. It seems it got louder for some reason. Or just constant machine gun fire.
Your mission objective is to eradicate all enemy forces positioned within a derelict nuclear shelter. The shelter is a remnant left over from before. Any facility from that period is of great interest to our company, and we had plans to explore it. But it appears that the Indies have booby-trapped the entire facility. We assume this is being done as a first step towards occupying the shelter. All obstructions within the facility have to be removed before our investigation can proceed. Many traps were detected in the initial sweep of the shelter. Be very careful.
Complete system. Engaging combat mode.
And it showed those things look like just flying tubes. I saw them in the satellite mission before. It seems it's going to run at you and explode. It's actually, these mines are actually really nice mechanic. That was two of them. Should have seen that coming, to be honest.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
This is an urgent request. MT units, thought to be of Emerald origin, are attempting to enter the nuclear shelter, where the team was sent to the facility for the sole purpose of conducting scientific studies. They are not equipped to deal with armed intruders. We can't afford to lose even a single member of the research team. Head to the shelter immediately and rescue them. Good luck.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Hey Joe, make it? Or is that Chappie?
Not all members have been rescued. Please hurry.
Is anyone joining us aside from Joe?
Joe's supposed to be joining us. I don't know where he went. Like, he's answered within the past 20 minutes.
Give him some time, I guess.
Not all members have been rescued. Please hurry.
That's everyone. Thanks, Raven.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
So, what are you doing tonight, Chappie?
Nothing. I'm just relaxing.
Yep, so, I've noticed that the voice acting, at least for this half of the game, is a lot better.
That's good.
Yes, it was honestly abysmal. But I guess that's how games were. Honestly, thinking back about it, a lot of old games had terrible voice acting.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then-
because he wants to take it seriously.
I mean, and then there was Tails from Sonic Adventure 1, who sounded like a little kid screaming at you from across the ocean on an Xbox. And also, one of the random voice lines, which I think that they forgot to take out, was just the character screaming sound test.
Actually watched a video based around Sonic Adventure, and he described their talking pattern as like everyone's talking like it's talking like a ransom note.
Everyone's talking off a ransom note. It is quite true. Except Gamma. Gamma was quite good.
Yeah.
I kind of wish Gamma got his own spin-off games. That would have been quite fun.
But no, he had to die.
Wait, doesn't Gamma show up in Shadow the Hedgehog, or am I remembering that incorrectly?
I think you might be remembering. Might be someone else. Oh no.
Yeah, I didn't play too much of that game. It was quite cringe.
And there's another robot that they find that they befriend with Omega.
The excavation and research is progressing steadily. If things continue at this rate, they'll become so entrenched that no effort on our part would be able to subdue them. However, one opportunity still remains. According to our spies, there is a device that controls the entire facility. Destroying it will buy us some time. Zeo Matrix is sure to have forces on hand to deal with.
And reading this freaking level I'm in, and I probably should have changed my setup a bit.
Engaging combat mode.
And by a bit, I mean a lot.
Enemy AC detected.
What's gonna be happening in the level?
You cannot unlock
What?
it.
So what's gonna be happening in the level?
It's just that the setup that I'm using is much better outdoors.
Oh,
And it's indoors.
that be.
Outside natural light.
Oh hey,
is-
Joe showed up. What the hell happened, man? You get lost?
Yeah. I don't
We all
want to
know
talk
that.
about it.
We all know it always takes Joe a while to get ready.
Not inaccurate.
So how you been, Joe?
Doing alright. Just fiddling about with monster genes on stories.
Okay. How's that coming along?
I'm currently passing Nergigante energy into my Monobloss.
What?
I'm throwing my Nergigante genes into my white Monobloss because my white Monobloss is stronger than Nergigante. Don't ask me how that happened.
What does Nergigante do?
Ruinous Tackle. It's basically just a really high damage raw power move, but Monobloss makes better use of it than Nerg. Because Monobloss, for whatever reason, has even more strength than a Nergigante.
Interesting.
Control
So I'm basically just
destroyed.
making the fattest, tankiest Monobloss I can think of.
Sealing off all floors.
I mean, more power to you, I guess.
Security gates are being closed. There's no time to waste.
I need more white Monoblosses.
Who do you think will win a fight? A black Diablo and a white Monobloss?
Well, the white Monobloss has got a spammable one-shot mechanic.
If we take into account game mechanics in this game, white Monobloss wins hands down. If we take into account ecology, Diablos beats Monobloss
Yes.
every single time. That's the reason why that you don't see Monobloss as much, because Diablos tend to dominate their territory.
What is Diablos actually stronger than Monobloss?
Canonically, yeah, a lot stronger.
Yeah, I'm
think
pretty
it-
sure it's also just an entire tier higher.
I thought that would be like they'll be even, cause well, what I think is like when they charge each other, there's a gap between Diablo's horn and Monobloss has a single horn, so its horn should go between the gap and hit its head.
If it can
But
even
Monob-
pierce its head.
But Mono's horn is smaller than Diablos's. It's also flimsier. Diablos are also way more reckless than Monobloss. Monobloss tend to be more calculated and precise with their swings, whereas Diablos are just crazy.
Are you smoking tea today?
Not really. He's been addicted to Stories 2 today, so I've seen and heard very little of him outside of him talking about Stories 2.
So the sticky has begun.
The sticky has returned.
At least he's getting sticky on a game that's actually good.
True.
So what? So is he completely abandoning his game plan then for his channel?
Oh no, he's just baked Stories into it. I think it means Horizon Zero Dawn is probably going to be like a few months later than it was going to be, but he's just doing Stories as well.
Enrod forces have attacked the disposal plant we were investigating. They've taken control of the security system and are...
Not that I blame him. Horizon Zero Dawn has way too much bullshit in it.
I just didn't like the gameplay of it, like the feel of it. It's a good game, but I just cannot get myself around the feel of the combat.
Which game?
2.
Monster Hunter 2 or Stories 2?
So, it's a Horizon Zero Dawn. The controls are just seem to be off-putting for me.
Honestly, a lot of games are like that. Like these Armored Core games that I'm playing, the controls are shit. So panning your screen up and down are the triggers. You use the triggers to look up and down. To go left and right are the freaking shoulder buttons.
Oh gosh.
So I need to get 2 more Gypsaros to get the Venom gene onto my Diablos, onto my Monoblost. And then I need to get 2 more White Monoblost to buff that. And then I think I should be fine for a while anyway. I can fish for a Nerg as well while I'm doing some material grinding. I also need to do some Mizutsunes. Empty egg carton. Let's start with the Mizutsunes because I've been putting them off.
My emulator does not like this map.
Well, emulators are good, but not always perfect.
I don't know what it is, but this map is getting very choppy.
I decided that I need some elemental coverage on my team because my team is very sort of raw heavy at the minute. So I decided to spend today getting and raising a barrier.
Kind of funked up drug meta. It's pretty raw.
I mean, Grug is fine for a while, but it doesn't get the job done against some of the harder enemies.
Mission objective achieved.
You kind of want the elemental.
Do you want the elemental?
Yeah. I also need to buff my Mizutsune so that I can deal with Glavenus.
Why do you need Mitsutsune for Glavenus?
Because Glavenus is weak to water.
Yeah, but there's so many better things for water, like Plesioth. Just ignore it hits everybody else.
Plesioth isn't rideable.
Okay, so you need a water monster that's rideable.
Yeah, I need a water monster I can ride.
Gyarados.
I haven't come across one yet. If they exist.
Have you tried willing them into existence?
And also, Mizutsune would be better than Gyarados.
You're saying that, but you don't know what that Gyarados' skills or stats are. They could give it just a freaking 80% hit chance, one-shot water move. That is just flopping like a fish.
Well, I can imagine what Duratodus is like. It'll be like Cephadrome, which is also kind of shitty.
To be fair, Cephadrome is one of the greatest monsters ever made.
Doesn't stop its attacks all being god-awful and its stats being weak.
That's what proper gene infusion is for.
Yeah, but why would I use proper gene infusion on a weak monster when I can use proper gene infusion on a stronger monster?
Because you don't know if you can unlock some like hidden gene to make it the strongest monster of all. I wouldn't put that past them.
It's not a Nursilla, therefore it doesn't have a niche.
That's why you use it. You know what? What do you think is just the best water monster of all of the Monster Hunter games? And don't you dare say the stupid Monster Hunter Tri-Elder Dragon.
I mean, it's pretty damn obvious it would be Namiel.
Well, there you go then. Get a freaking Namiel. Which I'm going to assume it can fly.
I don't know.
Can it fly and swim?
Possibly. I mean, my current flying mon is my Barioth. Because while the story wants me to ride on Rathalos, I prefer Barioth.
Rathalos has too many weaknesses.
It's more that half my team.
I mean, it's flying, so it's weak to thunder and rock. How many monsters throw rock?
Each monster only has one weakness in this game.
Ah, weird. I'm pretty sure that Rathalos is normally weak to dragon.
But half my team is weak to thunder. The Rathaloses, the Mizutsunes, and the White Monoblos are.
Wait, Rathalos isn't weak to dragon damage, or was that Azure Rathalos?
That was Azir. But yeah, the reason I replaced Tigrex with Barioth was to get rid of that fourth Thunder Weak monster in favor of Barioth, who is only Fire Weak.
You know, I was kind of hoping that Barioth was Ice Weak.
I think Sand Barioth is.
Ooh, Sandioth.
And I know Sandioth is in this game because I have a quest for it. But that would be the only other water option I could go with if I didn't want to use Mizutsune. Because Sand Barioth is technically a water monster.
What?
It gives you water blight with its tornadoes, so they made it a water monster.
Stupid. I disagree.
Hey, if Cephadrome can be a water monster, Sand Barioth can be a water monster.
To be fair, Cephadrome should be sand.
Oh, wait, no, sorry.
Sand. Just think about how many monsters in this game are sand.
I'm sorry, I got confused. Sand Barioth is a fire monster, but the one I made in Stories 1 was a water version, so I always just had it in my head that Sand Barioth was water. I forgot I infused the Sand Barioth to be water element because I thought it was hilarious.
So what you're saying is, it's your fault?
It's my fault that I think Sand Barioth is water. It's actually fire.
I mean, honestly, at that point, why didn't you just make it, you know, ice?
Because it was absolutely hilarious to use a Sand Barioth against other Sand Barioths and just watch in PvP and just watch the other one collapse.
Oh, just watch people just know.
Yeah, it's like because Sand Barioth was very strong in Stories 1. It was a case of I made my Sand Barioth a counter to Sand Barioth. In the same vein, I did the same with Seregios. I made it Thunder Element, remember?
To be good against other Seregios?
Yeah, to counter other people's Seregios, because Seregios was meta-defining as well.
Of course, Steve was meta-defining.
I'm gonna use the Metamons, but I'm gonna make them specifically so they counter their own species.
So counter meta.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume that they didn't lose any damage doing so.
No, the damage drop-off was minimal, but like it's so small the damage drop off for changing their element. But in changing their element, I gave them a type advantage, which then made them do more damage than they would have done naturally. Because, you know, type advantages are always good. I mean, the only other monster I'd be tempted to turn into a water monster would be Lagiacrus, because it's naturally a thunder monster, but it could easily be a water monster if I wanted it to. But I'm not the biggest fan of Lagiacrus, if I'm honest. I mean, I like its design, I think it's a cool monster, it's just not one of my favorites. There's so many nicer looking Leviathans, if you ask me. I mean, being a bad Leviathan doesn't make you a bad monster to me, because Leviathans are my favorite subclass of monster. I genuinely don't think there's a bad Leviathan in the entire franchise.
Geratodus?
Geratodus is a Piscine Wyvern. It's not a Leviathan.
It is now.
The fishes aren't Leviathans, but even if they were, I still wouldn't say there's a bad Leviathan.
First of all, if you want to say that there's no reason that Geratodus should be classified as a freaking Leviathan, look at Jay Leno. How does that scream Flying Wyvern?
Skeleton structure?
But it's not.
Oh, but it is. Yeah, I don't think Monster Hunter Team have ever made a bad Leviathan. So to be my least favorite Leviathan is still like puts you very high ranking on as a monster.
I guess with that, what is your least favorite Leviathan then?
Lagiacrus. But I still really like its design. It's just my least favorite of its subclass. I think it's just something about the sort of low to the ground snaky design that I like, because I also really like Najarala and Chameleos for very similar aesthetic reasons.
First of all, Najarala is just awesome.
Najarala is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Snake Wyverns as well. I think it is just the long boys that I like, just the long-bodied serpentine monsters.
So you like Dalmadur.
Yeah, I like Dalmadur. I genuinely think that monster was too complicated for the 3DS to handle, though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there was any issue with Dalmadur.
You're a ranged user, you don't go near it. If you go near it, you realize just how much you clip into its body.
It was more for you guys, so like the newer generations, it would have the skill.
That time when I realized that I forget entirely what I'm searching for inside this level, and I have no clue what the fuck I'm doing now because I was too busy talking to you guys.
You don't have the issue of your character model constantly clipping into Dalmadur's back and then losing exactly where you are on the map.
Or somehow just being knocked off the edge and fall all the way down.
First of all, I just stayed at that little top spot and shot him.
Yeah, it was nice and cozy where you were.
But I'd like to see. I know it's never gonna happen because big siege monsters don't tend to make a return. But I would like to see the return of Dalmadur.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, a new species of it. You know, if you're not gonna bring back the original, do what you did with the Morans and make a new one. 3 Mizutsune eggs. I need 1 more.
Do you need one more?
Yep.
Why not get 7 more?
Because that's too many genes. Unless I come across a better water monster in the future, I won't
No,
need
I
them.
meant just to scramble it up and eat it. Eggs make for some good eating.
Okay, they've improved things. Things still hit hard, but I can parry much more easy than I used to.
Oh, so you're trying out the Dark Alliance game right now.
In Lock On, it needs some more improvement, but it's better. I'm still getting like kicked around easily.
Mission objective achieved.
Of course, the mission was to kill everything, and I wasn't paying attention, so I just ran around for like 8 minutes trying to find out what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I blame Joe. You're too damn entertaining.
Guess I'm not strong enough to kill that yet.
Why do you say that?
Because it moved before I did, and all it does is run away. It's a barrel feline. They're basically like the XP dumps of the game. So they have no stats except for like speed and defense. They don't put up a fight, and they just drop massive amounts of experience if you beat them.
So they're basically a loot goblin.
Yeah. And every RPG has something like that.
This mission comes directly from our company.
With the Dragon Quest series, it's the metal slimes. With Pokemon, it's stuff like Chansey and Blissey.
The event is a
Ardino.
Ravens of Earth and Mars.
And Ordino in Gen 5, yeah.
Your opponent is Zaltok, a top-ranked Raven from the Martian arena.
Just the big XP dump Pokemon, or monsters even, regardless of what franchise you're playing. I haven't played many monster catching games, so don't have too many comparisons. I haven't even played that many RPG games, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, there's just a thing about RPGs. They're either good or they're either really, really good or really, really bad.
Yeah, there's no middle ground with RPGs. It's either really well done or really shoddy.
Yeah, I honestly like most of the games in the Tales series are fantastic.
See just what kind of skill an Earthraven has.
I keep seeing those in the digital shops and thinking I should give those a go, but then I never actually get round to it.
Honestly, if you can, I would heavily recommend starting with Tales of Symphonia is by far not only the best one, it is basically the only one that has got 2 entire groups full of characters. All of them are good. In most of the games, there's it is a 4.
That's the GameCube one, right?
Yes. And then they made a sequel for the Wii I highly recommend never touching and forgetting it exists. But there's also several for the GameCube.
I was gonna say I saw it a few years back on GameCube.
Honestly, it might be on the Switch. I don't know. But because they did Tales of the Abyss on PlayStation and then the 3DS, that is also a good one. So if you're looking for one on a console you have, the 3DS one is quite good. The main character fucking sucks, but the game is good. But though that is also one of them where the game technically has 6 or 7 characters. Sorry, no, it's 5 or 6. Except 2 of them are basically useless, so you don't want to use them. Okay, one of them is useless, and one of them is useless for an NPC to use. But the Tales of Symphonia, all of the characters are good. And it is also the only one, in my opinion, that has a good heavy character. All of them have the slow heavy character with a large weapon who hits hard. Tales of Symphonia was the only one that scaled it properly. Whether it is the character's speed combined with their defense, their damage, or just the weapon's range, especially because the character, just because of the fact that it's slow, the Tales one has some moves that are costly for your gauge, for your skill points, except those smash your weapon into the ground to shoot rocks, to at least like stagger shit so you can gap close.
That's good.
Also, the block actually functions good in that game. Like, it's worth it to actually block. You have an oh shit block if it's an actual magic spell, which does cost your skill gauge also. But then there is a move called an advance guard, which is a dash like several steps forward as you're currently blocking, which like reduces the block damage further by 99%, and you can like weave it inside combos. So it works very well.
Alright.
This mission assignment.
How many slots have I got left in my egg carton? 5. So 4 of them are going to be white monobloss.
This is the same. He has expressed a strong desire to fight you once more, and the arena fans are also looking forward to the rematch. Good. He.
Welcome to the arena. This battle is a rematch between two deadly opponents. A handicap will be given to the loser of their last encounter. Enjoy the fight.
I could care less about my reputation. As long as I defeat you, that will be enough.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Okay, this Barrios hits like a truck. I like
that
this.
Good?
Yep. I've also been recalibrating my monsters to have 2 attack types. Because I've spoken before about there being speed, technical, and power monster, about them being the rock, paper, scissors of speed, power, and technical. So because technical beats speed, I've been making sure to have some power techniques on my speed mons, so that way they can counter technical opponents for when I start doing PvP.
Yeah, that's honestly how like freaking Pokemon works. Because like your character only has like a single actual stab move, and then the rest are just to counter your counters.
Yeah, so I'm making sure to have counters to my counters on these mons. It's also useful in the story as well, because enemies change up their types as well, like mid-combat.
You mean so they actually like shift mid-combat?
Yeah, when a monster gets enraged, it changes its attack style. If a monster flies, it changes its attack style, that sort of thing.
Do yours also do that?
My monsters don't get enraged, but I can personally change their attack style with skills.
The target is a member of the Raven Order, but also shows signs.
So I don't have to. So I can basically tweak it as I see fit.
But when doing so pits them against us, they must be ready to face the consequences. Let this be a lesson to others. Your target is aware that his actions are making waves, and he is being very cautious. Until, however, he slipped up, and by doing so has provided us with the information we need. His whereabouts, our information indicates that he will not be alone. Should you encounter any fallout that occurs as a result of this mission will be taken care of by us. Please carry out the mission and let us handle the rest. That is...
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Let's put our battle on hold and take care of this pest. I'll help out.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, I can do what was reasonably. It just takes a lot more effort going solo.
Well, yeah, it always takes more effort solo in games like that.
But now I can at least hold my own against enemies much more easily than I used to. Like I can block like ridiculous amount of attacks. I waste my stamina, but like I can like block just about anything. And my parries come off much more easily. So that's great.
Unheard of. We must meet with the Bureau. In any case, your mission is complete. Return to base.
Yeah, that was a bit too much damage, oh my god.
So I'm not actually sure what my... Okay, so for just for the concept of the game, you have a person who basically feeds you information during the levels of this game. The level briefing mentioned that there may be a second person I'll have to fight, and my person was complaining that there was a second person they didn't tell us about that I had to fight. I don't see the issue. It said there may be someone else you have to fight. Just keep that in mind. We will handle any fallout for issues that this causes if you kill them. You know, I don't get it.
It appears that our last foray into the abandoned Hilda facility was not entirely successful. New sightings of biological organisms are trickling in. According to our research team, those that they've seen are relatively small in size. It's speculated that there are incubators or eggs or something producing these biological horrors. Please head to the abandoned Hilda facility immediately and eliminate them.
That guy was tough.
Was he?
I was a giant mammoth dude. I said I'd take him on, but he was doing some nice hits on me.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
We're picking up a significant bioresponse from within the facility. Be careful.
Alright, yeah, Monobloss is weak to the bow.
What do you mean the bow? Why is he weak to bow? How is he just weak to an entire weapon type?
It's more that that's the most advantageous weapon type, so it does more damage. Kinda makes sense that it's bow.
Oh, why is that?
Because all the best speed times against Mono and Diablos are set by bows.
Is it like that for other monsters?
A lot of them make a lot of sense, although there's some that I have a lot of gripes with.
Oh, like what?
Lagiacrus's tail specifically is weak to hammers.
What?
What?
Not his face?
No. the main body and the tail are both weak to hammer. The head is weak to sorry, the tail is weak to hammers. The main body and the head are both weak to ranged.
That's odd.
Yeah. Wasn't what I was expecting, not gonna lie.
The head is weak to ranged.
Mm-hmm.
The armored head.
To be fair, Legaicrus holds its head so high that like melee attacks can't usually hit it unless it's underwater.
Well, it was built for underwater.
Yeah, it was, but it also means that when we play games like Generations Ultimate, we struggle getting the head break.
Shoot!
I can't shoot my greatsword, Yasuna.
Have you tried throwing it?
Sometimes I wish I could, but in this situation I know I can't.
Insertion team smuggling secret materials from Mars is headed to Earth. We request that you destroy their transport ship has been in Earth's orbit for several. It appears that they plan to use re-entry pods to drop to the Earth's surface. You are requested to stand by at the projected... and up there you
Re-entry pods detected. We're picking up a lot of targets.
Well, seems like they swarm you more often. Now it's just to balance the game.
Sorry, what?
Destroy them before they reach the surface.
Dark Alliance. I keep getting swarmed.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
A good thing though, right? Because before the enemies had an issue where they just sort of idled even if you were near them.
Yeah, all of them actually engage you. Like, I have to keep an eye on all of them, which I like.
Yeah, it seems like they fixed the AI issues.
Yeah, they changed the AI and all that. They do idle a little bit, but they do all attack. And like all together. Ooh. But considering how I'm able to get through the game, get through I'm rating 6 at level by myself mostly, I can pretty sure say that it's gonna be easy before more challenge.
Yeah.
They
I
all
kind of preferred the challenge.
Mission objective achieved. System
Yeah,
switch
it'll be more fun in the combat feels much more engaging than it was before.
True, there were times where they just fucking sat there and derped.
Yeah, they just took the beating we were giving out half the time.
Derp, 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 derp. It's amazing how that wasn't refined by the time they started the game.
It's just now refined now.
Like freaking people letting Cyberpunk get away with that minimal of like an issue with what they did just opened it up for every freaking other game company.
Yeah, it did,
Wish to engage
unfortunately.
in an exercise using the MTs we recently received from our spot. Your instructions are simple.
Yeah, but Cyberpunk is still broken, right?
We've prepared. If we can hone our skills through combat with
I think
weapons,
Cyberpunk's just irrelevant now. God knows what's happened to it.
exercise is a switchyard near the Zern Desert.
I would have gotten Cyberpunk if it was actually good. And they have a lot of stuff going on with it.
Engaging combat mode.
Attention all
Well,
units.
that's not what
Do
happened.
not hold back. Fight like you mean it.
Because nowadays Cyberpunk is more famous for its massive amounts of flaws than it is for, you know, being a compelling video game.
It's massive amount of floors?
Flaws.
Oh, flaws. I just know that it's... I just know it for being a freaking glitchy pile of shit.
That's what I mean. That is exactly what I'm getting at.
Thanks for your cooperation. The exercise went well.
There's one thing I wait for
Mission objective
PlayStation.
achieved. System switched to normal mode.
That and everyone that's wanted to play Cyberpunk has probably already finished it by now and gotten their refund.
It was so bad they had to offer a refund. How did they not know it was that bad releasing it?
I find it hilarious that people who want the refund and keep the game too.
Yeah, they didn't freaking take it back. They were supposed to, they just didn't, and like, or they gave you a week to beat it and then give it back.
Your assistance is required to help.
Unfortunately, Sony takes time to give people the refunds.
Because technically, okay, so I think that the issue was that technically it was the company that had to give them the refund and not Sony, except though the company was trying to make it so that Sony would refund them and then the company would refund Sony after like the entire period for people to do it was, and Sony didn't want to have to like sit on not having that for like 1 to 2 months. Because the company was trying to not give it back immediately.
Our company discovered its
I mean,
existence
Sony seems to have enough bucks so they can charge the people to do crossplay.
I mean, you'd think though, with that kind of aftermath of Cyberpunk.
Hold on. What now, Shappy? Sorry,
I mean, I'm pretty sure they would have enough money considering they charge the people to do crossplay.
To do what play?
Crossplay.
Crossplay? Actually, not many companies do actually do. Not many games are actually crossplay. I'm surprised there aren't more.
There are going to be more, but it's the fact that Sony is the only company that charges others to do crossplay on the platform.
Yeah, because the companies use the Sony servers. Like freaking Switch basically has no servers or the shittiest servers ever. For the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles game, they did it. The Switch is using Sony servers, but they still have to get through all of the Switch's like security software to the point where you can't even make a single fucking room and stay in it and have to literally join it okay, so like the actual PlayStation has to generate you a temporary Switch code even to play with other people on PlayStation. You have to re-freaking do it every single room, and then because of how Sony like has the data transfer, so how the Switch has the data transfer, because there's also people on PS4. If you're going through it with multiple people, in which the game was meant to have 4 people doing couch co-op, because you're online, you have to do it once for every single person because no one else gets credit for beating it because it wasn't their freaking room. Which granted, prior when you had it on the GameCube, I think you actually had to have like multiple GameCubes or file cards to link them together to make this shit work. It was still a good game though. In the game, if you're playing with random people, is fun, but trying to do it with your friends is a freaking nightmare. Really
I
disappointing.
get it, but like crossplay should not be something that companies should be charged to do. Like
First of all,
Microsoft
if
and
you're
Nintendo-
using Sony's server for it, I don't see the issue with Sony charging a different company to host the game on their server because they are
What
the
about
ones
Microsoft? Their
paying
servers
for all
be
the
nice.
extra stuff. Sorry, what?
What about Microsoft?
What do you mean by that?
Microsoft does crossplay, but they don't charge companies to do crossplay upon their systems.
Okay, so can you give me an example of a game?
Borderlands 3.
Wait, is
They have
Borderlands 3
crossplay between-
actually crossplay now?
Yeah, it's crossplay between Xbox and PC.
Because it's the same company. Windows,
I know.
PC, and Xbox are the same company. It's the same people. What do you mean use their someone else's servers? The same people. PC is also Windows. Granted, now though, if you said Xbox and PlayStation and then Microsoft didn't charge them, I would be very, very surprised, but not that.
Well, Microsoft doesn't charge PlayStation when it comes to crossplay. It's only Sony that does charge companies. Not even Nintendo does that.
Nintendo servers aren't worth paying for. Nintendo should be paying them to use their servers. For paying to deal with the bullcrap.
The Switch crossplay work?
Nintendo's got the right idea with it. Instead of attempting to do instead of attempting to put a charge on crossplay, you just de-incentivize everyone from wanting to crossplay with you. It's the perfect crime.
Yes.
Our company discovered its existence a few months ago, and shortly after an investigation was launched,
People aren't gonna want crossplay if you disincentivize it so hard by making your servers ass.
keep in mind any information you come across while
Yeah, I don't understand how such a large company can do such a shit job at making servers.
Simple, because people eat that shit up regardless. You don't need to improve if people are going to defend it to the ends of the day.
Fair enough. I don't know how people manage to function on like Super Smash Bros. Online. I did it on the 3DS for like a day, and I'm like, I can't fucking deal with this anymore.
I'm the same. Like, when I go to play Smash Bros, I physically go around my friend's house instead of playing it online.
Destroy these areas and clear a path to the objective.
What do you mean by you
Because
go
I-
around your friend's house? Oh, you go to their house, you mean?
Yeah, when we want to play Smash Bros, I grab a GameCube controller and go around his.
Reminds me of the whole like where I had like a reason why I hated Nintendo for a good while. It's just the fact that during like the height of COVID, they was doing a Smash tournament, but to adhere to the COVID restrictions of like not gathering, they decided to use a mod called Slippy for I think it was to do organized commerce Melee, and that connection was extremely good. It's better than Nintendo servers, and Nintendo eventually DMC ate them.
They did what?
They basically sent them a cease and desist.
For setting up a server that actually works?
Yeah, how dare you have better servers than us?
It's an offline game, but they basically use a mod to makes it have online multiplayer.
Oh, those, yeah. I've seen a lot of those. I don't know why Nintendo...
If the game is not being sold anymore, like it's literally just I believe it's on the emulator.
Yeah, Melee is pretty much always all online because you're not going to be able to get people together around a GameCube these days.
I mean, I still have a working GameCube next to me. I mean, and by working, I mean sort of working.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying that it's more difficult to get people around a big old GameCube than it is to get people around a computer. No, or to get people to play online, especially with COVID restrictions. How are you going to play a GameCube game? GameCube didn't have online.
Mission objective achieved.
To me, though, I'm not surprised. Nintendo's always had a reluctance towards the online aspect. They sort of dragged their feet all the way up until the Wii era.
Yeah, you're still the ones that have voice chat.
Because they're not really. The problem is they try to be family friendly, but they have no way to actually like monitor the online aspect properly like they want. And them being such jerks about it just makes people try and troll them harder.
To me, the family friendly just seems like an excuse for just not wanting to put the work in. It's much easier to make an offhand excuse.
I mean, like that Tumblr thing that I showed you.
To me, it's bad enough to go through a lot. The Class X lawsuit about the Joy-Cons.
It's the fact that you have very little control over what's said online.
Oh yeah, Miiverse.
And you know how Nintendo loves as much control as they could physically have. To the point where a lot of their games deliberately have one way to play them, and only that one way, because even their developers are one track. They're the polar opposite of innovative when it comes to game design and, you know, problem solving in video games.
And yet somehow they're straying away from the old stuff that was good at making crap.
I mean, if you want a good example, I mean, Pokemon sort of suffering from that these days. The games before used to be relatively open and you could beat them with pretty much however you chose to without any sort of interference. Nowadays it's just it's very anti-consumer. You have to play it a particular way and there's no way of doing anything outside of the intended order. I mean, just look at the amount of options you have in Red and Blue compared to modern games.
What do you mean?
Well, as soon as I beat Misty, if I have to go to Vermilion City to get Kurt, but I don't have to fight Surge. I can skip Surge and come back to him later. Once I beat Erica, I can choose to either do Sabrina or Koga, or I can do Koga and then Blaine and then leave Sabrina till the end.
True.
Like, there's no fixed order for where you go and how you do things. The game opens up to you. Compare that to Sword and Shield, where everything has to be done in order.
And they literally handhold walk you everywhere with tons of cutscenes.
Yeah, they literally, like, from the moment you leave your house, they slap a pair of blinkers on you and go, "Don't you dare look away from where I'm going, buddy."
By the way, did you know that he's the undefeated champion? And have you seen his Charizard?
Yeah, they just slap a pair of blinkers on you and go, this is where you need to go next. I hope you don't get lost on this straight line.
The previous engagement taught us a lot. So now
It's the same as, it's like up until Breath of the Wild, it was the same with the thing with Zelda. Like, everything had to be done in order. Breath of the Wild spiced that up, thankfully.
I understand that this request may be
Because the original Zelda, you could take any dungeon on in any order, but as time went on with Zelda games, there was a fixed order for dungeons.
I wouldn't necessarily say any order. You did need to get items.
You needed to get items, yeah, but hypothetically you could challenge most dungeons in any order you choose. Just depending on what items you had made certain ones easier than others. Like there was incentive to do them in a particular order because it would make them easier, but you could go to most of them right off the bat if you wanted. And honestly, a lot of these games come from an era of minimal exploration, where games were kind of linear, because it was just easier to design them that way.
Then there's games like every collectathon that Rare made. They were really good at that. Like
early Rare was good, like, and they had all that good British humor as well.
Okay, so what do you mean by like early Rare?
Stuff like Banjo-Kazooie, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that stuff is great. Freaking Conker's Bad Fur Day was fantastic.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is so British, though.
Okay. Quick, start singing the Great Mighty Pooh song. I know you can. No, honestly, please don't. I'm pretty sure that there's at least one word in there they don't like.
I can, but I think Twitch will give me a slap on the wrist if I use that particular T word at the end.
Yes,
of it.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm pretty sure there's one word in there that Twitch does not like. Actually, has Twitch banned that game from their platform? I think didn't Twitch ban the what the hell was that one? I think they banned the Yandere Simulator or something, wasn't it?
I was gonna say, if you didn't mention that, I was gonna say Twitch is so based they banned Yansim.
Was that even a good game? I've never actually seen it.
It's not a good game. It's never gonna be a good game because it's never gonna be finished because the creators making more money off of their Patreon being paid to develop the game than they would get for releasing it. So it's never gonna come out.
Do use that money to get himself a doll, like a life-size doll.
What do you mean one doll? He has 3 dolls. He's broken 2 of them because he's fat. he's literally worn out 2 sex dolls that he paid for with Patreon money.
Also, he has some suspicious ideas or ideals on each consent and stuff like that.
Does he? Oh God.
Yeah, he's one of them.
He's one of those people.
He said there should be a sex license.
What the hell's a sex license?
Oh, yeah, I knew about that. You have to be, in his eyes, emotionally. You have to be a certain level of maturity for sex.
So he wouldn't be able to get one.
He wouldn't be able to get one. No, the whole concept of it was spit in his own face. But the whole thing about it though is absolutely hilarious. It's also instead of an 8%, it's a sort of license of maturity. There's to say you can handle the
and who's the person who gets to choose whether you can get that or not?
Good question. I have no idea who the arbiter of that would be because it's very fucking subjective and it would be very easy to fake and hard to prove. That's the other thing I have with it. It's like, all you need, you just get one person that's passed it and they go, okay, so these are the answers to the questions.
Also,
or if it's just up to someone's freaking interpretation, then that would be so many lawsuits against discrimination.
And also, you have to be able. Also, it works on the morals of the individual's testing as well. If they've got a thing for little kids, which a lot of people in power do have, then they're going to let a few slide, aren't they?
Also, another thing, the characters he made in the game, they're all underage, but he sells them in such a way. Basically, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the game, but they're all underage. But to cover himself, he tried to say they're all
of age. Yeah.
But in the game, they're all underage.
Yeah. And he's doing that to cover his own ass because he made the currency of the game panty shop.
Panty shots?
Yeah, you have to sneak up to girls wearing skirts and take pictures of their underwear for currency.
That's horrible.
Now the assets in the game aren't his. They're just store-bought assets.
Yeah, they're all royalty-free assets.
So to basically make a game made with assets made by someone else, making like.
Yeah, I still remember the initial thing of, oh, this is just a placeholder,
so
but
he's
now
probably using Unity, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he basically
anyway.
sold it as if these are just placeholders. I'll update it later, and now he's not.
Yeah, and now they've been placeholders for so long that he now has merch of these like community, these public figure assets, and they're now just a fixed asset. They're no longer going to be replaced now because they're quote unquote iconic to his game.
Like, dude, it's the game been working since. When did you start working on this game? Like 2014?
Earlier than that. I was still in school when he was starting that game.
So about a decade now.
I think it's 11 years.
Oh gosh.
Because yeah, I was I believe I was 15, 16 when he started working on it.
We've just received a report indicating the Outlaw Indies organization.
Because one of my mates who was massively into game development was looking at it, going, "Hey, look, it's an indie dev."
Also,
and
of course,
because us being massive weebs also, you know, pushed us into looking into what the game was about. This is back when it was in its like pre-test alpha, which it's never really evolved from.
Joe, I'm going to send you a screenshot. I think this person's never seen an actual limo and was just described what a limo looks like and misunderstood.
I'll look in a bit because my phone is currently on charge. Otherwise, it's just going to die and I won't be able to communicate.
Okay, so you know how for a limo, how the like cab part where people are sitting is the really extended part.
Mm-hmm.
Like 60% of this car is just the hood.
That sounds.
And the wheels and the front wheels are like 2 feet back from the front.
I mean, there was an attempt.
They'll execute the hostage for sure. Enter the city undetected and eliminate the that.
But yeah, I still remember the outrage from Yandere Dev when his game got banned from Twitch for being inappropriate, going against Twitch's standards. And I believe that was tied to the sexualization of underage girls.
Yeah, because there'll be like scenes of them like being naked and stuff like that.
Avoid using your boosters.
Okay, I think this map is glitchy as shit.
Main system.
Oh, the slowdown. Wait. Okay, I just can't face the middle of the map.
But it's still it's really creepy to me because like I'm 26 and I physically can't relate to anyone under the age of 20. Like there's just such a massive difference between the mentality of a teenage young student and myself that I couldn't even imagine any sort of relationship with one like that. But this is someone who doesn't see any difference between themselves and like a 14-year-old, and they're in their mid-30s. I suppose it's something to do with mental development, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been detected. Destroy the...
Destruction of all enemy targets confirmed. We'll take it from...
Well, maybe I'm just getting old and I can't relate to the kids anymore.
For what? Jandari Sim?
The thing about it is that when I was a kid, migrate to Yandere Sim because like it's that weird thing kids do. Like, oh, they see it, it's like edgy, you know, all that.
Yeah.
And plus
So you're basically treating it like people who make Sonic OCs.
Yeah.
Like Blood Edge, Death Blade, Sonic OC.
No. We probably shouldn't get into that can of worms on Twitch either.
But no one's going to disagree that some OCs people make are very cringy.
But yeah, it's a case of a lot of 14 to sort of 17-year-olds look at that shit as cool because it's edgy. It's people my age killing people. No. It's like
honestly, there are a lot of cultures have different names for it. The Japanese, it's a unibyo. I think that literally China just has a term which is just 8th grader syndrome. I think that's actually it, just like 8th grader syndrome. Hold on.
I mean, if that's true, then that's
Yep, that's it. It's just 8th, yes. So it's translated as 8th grader syndrome. I think that's actually what unibyo means when it's translated to English. Anywho. Actually, I'm pretty sure that there was just an anime about that called Chunibyo. Where like half it, you're just seeing it from the one person's point of view as like an actual anime shit, and then just everyone else just watching them like flailing with a ladle.
Yes, there's an anime based on that.
That actually sounds based. I want to watch that now.
It's actually quite wholesome.
Yeah, it's wholesome. It's just like funny. It's just shown like 30 seconds of something that looks amazing, and then just someone else viewing it, just them like flailing on the floor or something.
Your targets are referred to as disorders, and were originally discovered on Mars. We'll look into the reason. All citizens have been evacuated from the city, so that won't be a concern.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
It's struck me that I've been doing a lot of grinding in stories too.
Don't you hate grinding?
Not really. I kind of enjoy grinding.
I just thought that you didn't like the over grinding of things during the actual campaign.
Depends on how well it's baked in. Like, because the thing that I'm not, the issue I would have is if levels were the problem. If it's literally just a numerical value that needs to increase just by doing random encounters constantly, then it'd be an issue. But it's the fact that it's all about the genes and about gathering eggs from dens and transferring over genes from one monster to another. So it's a case of I can remain at the same level, but just tweak my loadout a bit and then have a better result. It's good grinding versus bad grinding. Just getting to the next area and finding myself 20 levels under leveled just wouldn't be as fun as this.
I meant the like over grinding part of it. Like for freaking Pokemon, you can trivialize everything by just over grinding to hell.
Pokemon, like one of the good things about Pokemon is that they don't actually they've removed a lot of the grind from the game. If you do excess battle, if you do battle to excess, then you do end up over leveled. But playing through the game naturally, you'll never really be over leveled or under leveled. The level balancing is something that they've honestly gotten right. But there's a lot of RPGs that really piss me off with their grinds.
Destruction of all enemy targets confirmed. Good work, Raven.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
Because if the problem is just my number is too small, then that's a problem.
Earth Central, the government's capital city. Ravens are strictly forbidden from entering the Earth government's domain. Our garrison is in pursuit of the intruder. We could easily remove this pest with a massive display of force, but we'd prefer we'll make an exception for this mission only and provide you with access to Earth. The target has survived repeated attacks, suggesting that he is a fighter of great.
Because I did have that issue when I did play Dragon Quest. There was just certain places where I got to a point it was like, you are now under leveled.
So
by about 10 levels.
Okay, so that is actually something similar for that. It was Tales of Zestiria, the post-game area. Was like 8 separate sections where just between each of them the level jump just went to fuck you. But opposed to grinding, there was one point where like me and my brother who were playing it, we were like level 70 because you could easily beat the game at like 60. The enemies there were 140, and it was basically just we were properly rotating and using skills to stun lock the enemies in a corner for 2 minutes, because if they got a single attack off, we died. And we got through the entire post game by doing that. Bosses and everything.
Must have been very painful.
Honestly, but like the rest of the game was great, and then just, hey, this post area is just 8 small dungeons. You're all level 70, like 60 getting to this area, and then it just goes like, okay, next area. 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 140, fucking go. And it's like there's no way to gain more than like a single level by going through these areas properly without grinding, and we didn't grind.
Yeah, that does sound completely
Granted,
bullshit.
because of how though the game works, this isn't an RPG where you can't dodge or block and things, so it was still doable. It just sucked. Until we just figured out, fuck it, stun lock everything.
At least I'll be taking you with me.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Please be advised, target has
But that's at the point where like You're now being punished for being good at the game, though, because you're now massively underleveled as opposed to just being slightly
punished. It
underleveled.
was honestly very fulfilling to be able to beat that. Like, the fact that we beat the extra hidden boss of the game, half the level we were supposed to be, was very nice.
I'm talking about for the average player, though, not for someone like yourself who can strategize.
Also, the only reason why the strategy worked is because that game had a special mechanic, which was basically there are 2 regular characters who are human, and then the other 2 slots have four mages who you can change between. All of them are a different element, but though each of them are paired with one of the humans, so you have to have both of the humans there. But then you can fuse with them to basically gain, like, certain, like, buffed spells and shit while also having nice melee. And we basically set it up so I was just spamming the earth one to spam their groins with just spikes to knock them up over and over, while Kyle was the fire one to spam a giant flaming wave that pushed them backwards. So if you weren't literally playing with 2 people, there was no way to make it function. Which is also the issue, is that the game focuses on like a 4-person party system, but that game basically made it so as soon as you like activated that mode, which by the way you could keep 100% uptime on, basically made the other 2 people, if you were 4 people, not able to play. Here's this 4-person game. Okay guys, we need to activate the special mode that because of how we're doing it, we never had to turn it off. You guys, I guess... John, go make us a sandwich. Bill, get drinks. We'll see you in 2 minutes for the 5 seconds we need you to do the fusion.
Hey, look at the bright side. At least you can get snacks and a drink before the next fight.
I mean, come on. Who designed this? Oh, also the weird way that it worked was that you had a certain like number for your like melee combo, and you could cast a spell anywhere in it to increase the speed. But though it was also the same for your spells, which I think was 5. I was like, you could like basically chain cast 5 spells and each one got faster. Except though using like a backstep or a dodge counted for your combo meter, I guess, to like leave you open for a bit after the 5th one. So basically what I was doing was like doing like 2 freaking backsteps really quick to just rapid cast the next 3 casts. So it was like 40% of my actions were just backstepping into a wall to speed up my casting speed. Like, the actual strategy was stupid. Oh, also, every time they cast, they shout the name of the spell. So like 90% of the audio is just the character spamming crystal towers.
Exactly what you want to hear.
It's like why we turned off the voices in Rise. While I understand that you can have an incantation because the other games, the casters have nice incantations, especially for the longer spells, there was no incantation, it was just them shouting Crystal Tower. So it didn't even feel like you were playing like Magic. It was just, oh, you're just rapidly punching the ground and shit's flying up they can't dodge. Amazing interaction. The game was good, though. The game's plot was good. The concept of the game was good. Everything besides the post-game area was great. And then you just got the post-game area, which was honestly just like teasers of just like favorite characters from the older games. Which is also something nice, is that almost every game in the game series has an arena area that you can go to, and then just towards the end of the game, when all the extra shit opens up, there is always a final fight, which is just a combination of characters from the older games, and you pray that it isn't the main character from Tales of Symphonia, because while every character in that game is overtuned, so it's fun, his hit range and burst damage is so retarded that it's honestly not fun if you have to fight him.
Joy.
Basically, he can cross the entire battle area within a quarter of a second and one-shot you, or like do these like giant sweeping things you can't dodge that just blender you in 2 seconds, like Jeff playing dual blades. But all of the dual blades are as big as a greatsword.
More fun. Okay, this Mizusune is gonna be annoying now.
Also, the AI in so the AI, because you can actually customize them in Tales of Symphonia, is good. Just that there's one character who gets a spell later on that they basically kill themselves to fully heal everyone and resurrect people, which you turn off because for some reason the queue for it to use this spell as the priority spell is someone is not at full health. So
Also,
someone's not at full health. Better kill myself to full heal everyone. Amazing idea, right?
Yes.
How could it go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong with that concept?
Bridge in Kolnak Bay City this evening. Please escort the convoy while it traverses. The convoy should be out of danger once it.
But yeah, also the characters in that game also have a very wide range of like actual application, which is like you've got the typical sword and board, but he's got the low and then the mid-tier magic stuff. You have the dual blade guy. You have a person who is mid-range using chakrams but has like angel crap. You have a healer. You have the mage who's every single element. You have this person who fights using like freaking like tarot cards and summons. You have a martial artist. And then you've got just the lowly with the giant axe, who's actually a good character, and doesn't have just the happy, chippy-go-lucky personality that makes people want to punch them in the face. Oh, there's also actual character development throughout the entire game, which somehow most games like freaking nowadays lack. And I don't know how.
That's kind of irritating.
What?
I now need 2 more white monobloss.
Oh, for what?
Because I was just going to be using them for their base genes to improve my current white monobloss, but they had evade up large on them, so I ended up channeling the evasion into Mizusune because it adds to Mizusune's damage as giving it evasion.
Okay.
So now, so now I need to go grab more of those.
Have you tried catching more when I told you just to get extra?
The problem with white monobloss though is that you have to fight one every single time you want one.
I don't see the issue.
That's an extra like 10 minutes.
It takes 10 minutes to fight a white monobloss?
No. Well, depends.
Can't you
I
just
have got the
one-shot
thing
it?
on maximum. No, I can't.
It seems like
I've got the thing on maximum speed, but it's like it's gonna take me 10 minutes to get 2 of them. Because it's not guaranteed to 100% go back to its nest every single time. Plus side, this is really good training for my Barioth. Also, those eggs deceived me. I thought they were Mizutsune. They were pink. They were purple Ludroth.
Amazing.
You can tell the difference between them if they're normal, but because these ones had rare genes, they were glowing, which made it a lot harder to tell the color difference. Especially because I don't see like purples very well.
Yeah, colorblind.
Speaking of that, how did the colorblind mode on Dark Alliance do? Because there were like a lot of settings for that.
Oh, I never actually tried it.
I'm gonna hop off now. That was tomorrow.
See you, Shappy.
See you, Shappy. But yeah, I never actually tried it. I probably should have tried it just so I could give you, you know, some information on it, whether it was actually good or not.
Because there are some games that say they have a colorblind mode, but then it's not actually a colorblind mode. They just like arbitrarily change colors. But like it was actually like, you know, or it's just a blanket colorblind mode, because there's so many different kinds of color blindness.
I mean, if they arbitrarily change the colors, that's not too bad though. Like,
it depends what colors you're changing though.
Yeah, if it needs to change to a drastically different color, or you know, one on a slightly different spectrum, but. But overall, it's not a bad idea.
Granted, I also have no idea what it takes to set up like options for color palettes. But I'm assuming that there's probably like 30 plus different kinds of documented color blindness.
Yeah, your color blindness tends to go through different spectrums as opposed to
There's also different colors.
Yeah, but you tend to be colorblind through a particular spectrum.
System switched to normal mode.
Like I guess reds, right?
Yeah, for instance, mine's blues and purples. I can't tell the difference between a lot of blues and purples. But if you give me like 50 different palettes of reds, I can tell you I can order them from like darkest to lightest, but I can't do that with blues and purples.
So basically, if we just like give you just a giant gradient of like blues, it just looks like the exact same color the whole way?
Yeah.
Good to know.
This mission request will require you to assess the strength of Belena's defense network.
So I'm presuming that the multiple different types of the colorblind settings are to do with the different spectrums.
If you are discovered,
you have to find the color spectrum that you're colorblind in, and then set it so that it replaces that spectrum, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Can you say that again?
So I presume with the colorblind settings, it gives you a whole range of different spectrums. And
it actually gives them names, so you have to know what the specific name for your color blindness is.
Well, I suppose.
Like it doesn't show you an image; it just gives you a name.
Well, then if you've been diagnosed, then you'll know. I myself haven't been diagnosed because I've not had an eye test ever. So I can't tell you the name of mine, I can just tell you what it affects.
Well, the name for color blindness to blues is tritanopia.
What about purples, or is it the same?
It's not giving me a name.
So I'm presuming it's the same spectrum.
Well, I'm going to guess that the issue with purple is that all you're getting is just the red out of it because you can't see the blue.
Listen, if you want to, please do.
It's not that you can't see the blue. You can usually see that it is either a blue or a purple, but you can't tell like which one it leans more towards.
Intruder, destroy that once.
It's not like the color just appears grey to you.
Remember, it's your call. Exit the area whenever you're ready. A transport plane is ready to evacuate.
Honestly, it took me forever to even notice I was colorblind. I just didn't assume I was any different. Alright, one more Mizutsume, I hope. And then it's back to White Monoblos.
You've proven yourself. Head out whenever you're ready. Don't overextend yourself. It's important to know when to stop.
I'm going to Drew's tomorrow. We're gonna go play some Yu-Gi-Oh.
Kick his butt.
I'll do my best.
That sounds like quitter talk.
Oh, we'll have to see. He's playing Blue Eyes, I play Harpies. I genuinely think that I've got a good shot at it, but who knows?
I'll let you make the call. Just board the transport whenever you're ready.
I just have to hope that Blue Eyes does what it does best and draws a whole bunch of high-level monsters they can't summon.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
How often does that happen?
A lot.
Does it now? I thought that because of what we saw from Seto Kaiba, that you can just summon like a whole bunch of monsters in one turn.
Well, Blue Eyes has become a massive meme in the community because the 2016 World Championships had this really, really weird and awkward ban list that essentially meant that no deck was really playable, and so Blue Eyes ended up being the top 2 decks in the finals because they'd recently gotten support and weren't completely gimped into the ground. And the final match opened with both Blue Eyes players bricking and spending the next 3 turns trying to find a play to start the game.
Really?
Genuinely, both of them in the World Championships finals in 2016 was 2 Blue Eyes players opening dead hands.
Your call.
Which to me basically just sums up you done goofed with that ban list, dude. Like, seriously. The fact that Blue Eyes was the most playable deck and they can't even open well. It also means that the 2016 World Championships weren't taken seriously at all. Because Konami has like very particular things when it comes to their ban list. You can tell when they want a deck to do well, because it either doesn't get touched or everything around it gets hit instead. And with the world's ban list, genuinely that's what happened to Blue Eyes. We could tell that Konami were trying to push Blue Eyes as like a world championship contender to try and bring back, you know, the old fans for nostalgia.
And then you got that instead.
And then we got that, and Blue Eyes just became even more of a laughing stock. But in the end, it did actually do the right. It actually did do the job. It did bring a lot of people back to play in the game, that were just in it because Blue Eyes got support. So it worked, but it also showed why legacy support is shit. And to be honest, I understand how hard it must be to try and create support for Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes, because what you're essentially doing is you're working with these 3 god-awful monsters from God knows how many years ago, and you're trying to make a deck playable around 3 cards that are essentially just dead weight in the deck. No matter how good you make the support can be broken as hell, but the thing they're supporting is so out of date that it doesn't really matter. That's why I play Harpies. At least the original Harpy lady holds up fairly decently.
Please don't overextend yourself.
Like, worst case scenario is she's just a normal summon. Like, she can't ever sit dead in my hand. But it's the same with all the legacy support. Like, for whatever reason, they've been on this massive nostalgia trip recently. And since about 2016, when Blue Eyes, quote-unquote, won World, they've just been on this massive nostalgia trip for the old stuff. So pretty much every card in Yugi's deck or Kaiba's deck has had like an archetype made around it, or a retrain. And I'm not gonna lie, none of them have been good. And the only one with any relevant success was the ABCs, which were just retrains of Kaiba's XYZ monsters. And that's because they were retrains and didn't actually try to, you know, help with the summoning of the originals.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
Mind you, it's the same with old players. A lot of old players that go, "Oh, I've got my old cards," and think they'll be worth something. So nah, a lot of old Yu-Gi-Oh cards are just completely worthless.
Are they now?
Yep. No relevance in the competitive scene and no relevance in the card market.
So I'm going to assume that the Dragon Capture Jar is worthless.
Yes. As good as Dragon decks are these days, and they are good, Dragon Capture Jar would never be played because battle positions don't matter.
A contingent of enemy ships.
If you're not actively stopping your opponent's strategy, you're not helping yourself.
That's honestly what I kind of liked about the first generation, is that there wasn't like all of these like bullshit tricks and shit to do. A lot of the card games nowadays are so complicated, it just gets out of hand. You're not really even playing the game anymore.
A contingent of enemy ships is rapidly approaching.
Like Magic the Gathering is a great example.
Magic's a weird one to me.
There is one card that you can play down, and it just says if you have more than X amount of health, you automatically win. And there are some formats where you start with more health than that card requires for you to win, and they don't ban it.
Magic to me is a weird one though, because even their meta play is based around sort of just circumventing every mechanic in Magic.
Yes.
It's like, oh, we have a mana system to prevent decks from being overpowered, but we make cards that circumvent the mana system.
Yes.
And then like shocked face, these decks that circumvent the mana system end up being overpowered because you can literally do whatever the fuck you want with them.
Attack the Emerald forces from the bridge at the entrance of the bay and prevent once they pass.
That's why I've never really understood like the thought process behind green decks. It's like each card in them gives you more mana, and it's like all you're doing is promoting fast, that color being faster than the others.
Enemy forces detected just up ahead.
Which is fine if you're playing like mono green, because the payoff is going to be smaller, but people don't do that.
Do not allow the enemy forces to cross this line.
And now the card game's gone on long enough for even mono green decks to have a payoff. To get to generating like 12 mana turn 1. With Yu-Gi-Oh it's a lot more obscene though, because there are no mana costs. Cards just do a hell of a lot in one turn.
Hold on, there are colorless artifacts that are like literally just pay whatever mana you want when you're placing this card down. Now every turn, this card taps for that many mana. And it's not like it's a creature you can kill, it's just like an artifact on the side. So if you don't have like a certain kind of card, which I think is actually only in a green deck for the most part, you really can't stop it. It's like, okay, so I place this on turn 3.
Destruction of all targets.
Now on turn 4 I have 6 mana. And I can place another one. So now on turn 5... So doing it on turn 3, next turn you have 7 mana. And then next turn you have 15 mana if you've got a second one, and now you're just snowballing to all hell.
I mean, why even play it on the turn 3? Why not just play it with one of those lands that taps for multiple mana and just costs life to put into play?
honestly, if you place it down on turn 1, honestly, if you really think about it, if you place it down turn 1, turn 2 you have 2 mana, you place that down, then turn 3 you have 5 mana, and you're already... Actually, you'd have 6 mana turn 3, and at that point you can place most of the large monsters.
Yeah, because if I remember rightly, there is a land that costs like 1 life, but it taps for 2 different colors of mana. You then just spend those 2 colors on that artifact, and then turn 2, you now have 4 mana in play before even playing a land, so you've got 5 mana turn 2.
No. Here's the thing though. That's 4, but then you could put down a second one, and you have 6. 6 mana on turn 2.
You've got 6 mana on turn 2. 2 of it being colorless though, because it's from the artifact. But that doesn't really matter.
Because a large portion of the like set cards for that card set, the special things are colorless and can be thrown together with anything. Like if you talking about the Eldrazi, which are literally just colorless creatures, but like when you place the card down, you pick 4 cards, even counting the other person's lands, any permanent card, you throw it into the graveyard, then every time you attack, you just pick 4 permanents from their side and throw it into the graveyard.
Yeah, I know about the Eldrazi.
You just immediately start, and then there was the Eldrazi token decks that, hey, every turn I can get like 60 of these 0/1 blockers that I can consume for mana.
Yeah, I remember the Eldrazi. I had one interaction with the Eldrazi. I was like one of my friends was like, "Oh, you should get into Magic. Is there anything you're looking to play?" And then I had a look at I had like a small look at the card pool. Saw the Eldrazi and I was like, Eldrazi's kind of interesting. And they just looked at me and went, "If you play Eldrazi, no one here will want to play Magic with you."
It's just fucking stupid.
So it's like,
or
right,
just even that, just the Eldrazi tokens. Okay, on turn 4, I now have 20 plus of these. I cast Fireball and tap every Eldrazi. You're dead.
And that's when I turned around and said to that friend, I was like, well, I don't want to play Magic then. You've essentially told me you have to pick pick whatever you want to play, but most people won't play with you if you play something good.
But no, there's good and there's stupid. Like there's slivers, which are all just creatures that have an effect, except how they work is that the effect isn't for them. It gives it to every other sliver creature. So like let's say it gives +1/+1. It doesn't get it, but it gives it to every other one on your field. The problem is that it also affects the other person or everyone else's slivers also. So everyone else was carrying a single sliver card to counter it that said it gives all slivers defender, which means they can't attack. So it gets all of the buffs, and now all of the other person's ones that also get that can't attack.
Yes, I remember Slivers was another one that I looked at and went, that looks cool, and was told, oh, don't play Slivers. It's like, so you're telling me everything I look at and like the design of because it seems very Yu-Gi-Oh, you're telling me I'm not to play it because it's either unfair or people just won't want to play against you.
Yeah, the balancing in Magic was not good.
It's like
for a good example, the Planeswalkers. There are a lot of them that are cool and fun, but then other ones that are so freaking broken you can't even afford to use the other ones.
Yeah, but this is the problem I was having with it though. It's a case of the stuff here that I would love to play, but you're telling me that I shouldn't play it.
Keep the pressure on. The defense network consists of guns that could.
You're trying to get me to play this card game with you because it's something you're passionate about, but you're telling me, okay, I want you to play this game with me, but you can't play this, you can't play that, you can't play this. It's like, do you want me to play or not? Because everything I've taken an interest in is something you told me not to play.
Honestly, the only things I found interesting were just entire land decks that are only land, or doing then or for an example then an artifact only deck. Like the stupid theme decks seemed fun, but the actual game itself really wasn't.
Yeah, our Magic locals is super casual to the point where even like full artifact decks were deemed like too broken because you could just pop off with them. And for whatever reason, our local scene in Magic is like the most casual thing in the world, where games last like 5 hours.
That is easily doable. Okay, so if like everyone's playing like a turtle setup, you can easily do that. Because like there are decks that all they really actually revolve around is just basically milling the other person out. Which, granted, there was one set which was a guild theme where like one of them had a concept of milling, except that it caused other things to happen when you made them mill, like they lost health. Which at least is better than just waiting for them to mill their hand out, especially when there's cards that exist that basically let them shuffle the entire milled pile back into their deck. And then it's just people playing that, and then people playing, hey, I'm just infinitely gaining health so you can't kill me.
We had some people like that, the infinite health gain. The problem is like most people at this local just don't have a win condition in their deck.
My favorite win condition. Here is this card. If I tap 2 of every color mana, I win the game. It's it was the Door to Nowhere or something, Door to Nothingness.
But you see, I don't understand the concept of building a deck without a win condition though.
They're just, yeah, like I understand. It's not like you're like trying. It's not like you're like saying, okay, I will use this to stall as I whittle them down. They'll just turtle and not actually do anything and just wait for everyone else in the game to kill each other, and then like leave so they win because they're the only one left.
But I don't understand how that's fun.
I don't either. It's like if you're there to socialize, fine, but don't just sit there and just interrupt everything everyone else is doing because you're bored.
Yeah, you're literally slowing down what is essentially a game taking place with other people in the room.
I think that actually South Park had an episode joking on that, which was cock magic, which was opposed to cockfights. It was like it was like roosters taught to play Magic to play Magic the Gathering. And then I think that in the end it somehow ended up with like a chicken playing Magic the Gathering while then the other side's the girls volleyball team playing volleyball as it's playing Magic, and it makes no goddamn sense.
Oh, I understand that joke entirely.
Why? I don't get it.
It's the fact that it's poking fun at the fact that Magic players would rather be playing with cardboard than like looking at girls or have any sort of like social interaction.
I guess that was it because they did that to increase the views for the volleyball team. All right, did you ever look at that screenshot I sent you?
Yeah, I did. It's dumb.
Oof, I am 51 levels into this, and I am only 54% of the way through the game.
Yeah, I've never been able to get into Magic, one because our local scene is too casual for my liking, and two because every time I've taken an interest it's been shot down by pretty much everyone around me.
To our horror, a scan that was run on the area discovered that the invaders have attached if these devices are detonated, the flow of goods to and from the city will come to a standstill, and the economy will suffer. Please, we don't know how much time is left before the charges detonate, so please commence your mission.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
A statement has been issued by the invading forces. There's no time left before they blow the bridge. Please hurry.
The thing that gets me even more though is the Magic players are all like still really intent on keeping this old grudge between Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh going.
What grudge?
Oh, there's always been a sort of grudge between Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh over like card games because Magic came first, but Yu-Gi-Oh is more popular.
To be fair, I don't feel either of them are good.
Honestly, neither of them are good. But for in our local scene anyway, the Magic players are like really just rude and disrespectful to Yu-Gi-Oh, and we just couldn't give a shit about them. We're just like, ooh, we know you're fucking losers, but we're not gonna sink to your level.
And then there's Pokemon. I haven't heard much about the Pokemon card game theme scene.
Pokemon just keeps to itself. That's why.
All that I know is that it's being scalped to all loving hell currently.
Yeah, it is. Because people are in, like, lockdown's gotten everyone bored, and people are just reliving their childhood nowadays.
I wonder what a PlayStation currently sells for on eBay or Amazon.
So, obviously, like, Pokemon cards are another sort of way to access something you enjoyed as a child.
Oh,
Especially
PlayStation
considering
5, $1,400.
Especially considering how we're like looping back to the conversation we had earlier about modern Pokemon just not being as fun as old school Pokemon. Like the cards as a way to experience sort of modern Pokemon without the general flaws of like the games. Because I can plug Pokemon Sword into my Switch and get bored after 5 minutes of trying to play through the story, or I can buy a pack of cards and just relive my nostalgia through some cute artwork of some of my favorite Pokemon.
I still love how PlayStation is trying so hard to like advertise the PS5 exclusive games to get people to buy a PlayStation when no one can buy a PlayStation because of scalpers.
Straight up.
Like they might want to fix that issue first.
If no one can get hold of your console, you can't sell people games.
War is being waged in the depths of the Arcade Ocean.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'd like a PS5. It'd be something nice to have.
So not paying more than double the price.
But if I had the money for it, I would want to pay retail price, not whatever Billy who owns 1,000 in a warehouse is willing to charge me.
No, like I don't care if it's like, okay, this is $500. Someone else is buying them. They sell it for $600, even $700. Oh fucking K, but $1,400.
With me, I don't go a penny over retail. In fact, I try to get things
They're selling it
cheaper
for more than
retail.
double.
Yeah, and that's where they lose me, because I won't pay a penny more than retail. So if you're trying to sell me it for more than double retail, you lost my interest before I even walked in the door.
Must not be allowed to monopolize. Our sources indicate that it will be departing its berth on Falane Coast tonight. We ask that you carry out this request.
Ooh, this operation that I'm doing is called Operation Black Whale.
Don't tell Keith.
I thought Keith was looking for Moby Dick. I thought Moby Dick was a white whale. Granted, I have never read it. I may be entirely wrong.
Moby Dick is a white whale, but I'm pretty sure Keith just wants any whale at this point.
Roger. Help is on the way.
The hour be late and the blowhole be wet, so Keith's harpooning.
Raven, we can't recover you with that AC around. Destroy it.
We are.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
We're under attack. Requesting immediate support.
Roger. Help is on the way.
Enemy AC detected. Raven, we can't recover you with that AC around. Destroy it.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
We're under attack. Requesting immediate support.
Roger. Help is on the way.
Enemy AC detected. Raven, we can't recover you with that AC around. Destroy it. Destruction of enemy target confirmed.
Of course, I had to do this boss fight 3 times. The first 2 times are very annoying. The 3rd time he just gets stuck on an object repeatedly until he dies.
Amazing.
Thanks, game. Before it was actually flying around and doing shit. It was just running forward against a wall, letting me shoot it.
Plans have been set in motion for a raid on Zeomatrix's space development lab located. Zeomatrix scientists are hard at work there, planning for the redevelopment of the lunar surface. Our objective is to delay these plans and obtain materials related to the... Your specific duty is to launch an assault on the forces defending the construction dock. Meanwhile, we'll use the confusion created by... Once the attack begins, reinforcements are sure to be called in. You must...
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Enemy intruder detected. All units converge on dock.
That's enough. Please evacuate the area immediately.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
So did you get the rest of those white Monopolists you had to get?
Yes, I have. I'm now grabbing some Gammoth.
Gammoth's there. I'm gonna assume Gammoth's a power?
Yeah.
Definitely ain't a technical or a speed. Imagine if Gammoth was speed.
Yeah, she's entirely power, but I'm using it to buff my Barry off.
This is an urgent request. Your services are required to eliminate him. The target has been spotted in various locations on the surface and always leaves a swath of dead. 2 highly qualified Ravens were dispatched to take him out. But unfortunately, we must bring his rampage to an end.
So, once again, I'm hired by something that appears to be a trap, because it seems that it's a 3 versus 1 in my favor. What are the odds that that turns completely back around?
What, to a 3v1 against you?
Yes, especially because the reward mission, or like how much you're paid for it, is the most I've seen in this game for a single mission.
This is an
very sus.
The target has been 2. We must.
Means so if it's the what I'm thinking of, it's going to
Main system.
Yep, I'm going to not have nearly enough ammo for this, but let's find out. Oh, nope, looks like the other 2 are already dead. Works for me.
AC data assessment in progress. It seems to be an older model. I have a bad feeling about this, Raven. Please be careful.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Oh, come on.
AC data assessment in progress. It seems to be an older model.
What's wrong?
It didn't retreat, even though I had 55% chance of it retreating.
beat it on my second try.
Nice.
Overtuned pile of shit, but it's dead.
Balena Corporation, currently occupying a newly discovered research facility in Zam Desert, has repeatedly refused the Bureau's requests to monitor their activities.
Now I have to do that
A
again.
research team was dispatched to investigate, but we have no idea what it is that Balena is trying to hide. But it must be something. Please infiltrate the facility and investigate.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
We've detected an energy signal deep within the facility.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
We've just received word that an attack is being planned on our space development. Our best guess is that the attackers aim to disrupt our ongoing redevelopment operations relating to Mars. But as of this briefing, we still do not know who they are. This is due to the fact that so many different groups are willing to engage in hostilities against us. A team of defenders is being assembled to deal with this upcoming attack. We'd like you to be part of this team. Destroy any who attempt to gain access to the facility.
This is a team destroy.
So what do you have to do next in that game, by the way?
Kill Glavenus.
Enemy AC detected. Seek and destroy.
But that's not too difficult.
Another one?
I just want to be more prepared for it.
I've still got a job to do.
I need to buff up the monsters that are going to be useful later on. What I'm currently doing is making long-term plans. So basically, when I'm done with this, I shouldn't need to do any more grinding for the most, if not the rest of the game.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
I think the game just completely failed by putting the wrong type of enemy in the wrong place.
Amazing.
So it puts something that excels at horizontal movement but sucks at vertical, and it just immediately jumped into this rut that it kept getting stuck on the sides of and couldn't actually dodge or use any of the benefits to the entirety of its legs.
That is a very smart plan, and they are very smart people for doing that.
It's like, okay, there's this other up there. It can be at the top on either side, or stay on the giant top platform and snipe. Nope, jumps immediately into the rut.
This operation involves the assassination of an important... The target will be traveling aboard a special train via the Balboa City subway system. The train is capable of very high speeds, making it a difficult...
And this next one is just to kill a high-speed train.
Main system. Engaging combat.
How fast are we talking?
High speeds.
Incoming train. You've only got a moment to take care of the job. Stay calm.
I thought I only had to just kill the train itself. Nope, I had to blow up every car of the train separately.
Was it fast?
No, it actually wasn't. I mean, I guess in the games, like, using the game's speedometer for speed, it wasn't too slow, but...
Incoming train.
Just no point.
You've only got a moment to take care of the job.
But it wasn't the fast.
No.
Objective achieved. System
Yeah, so this time I just let it go past me and just kept swinging a freaking laser sword. Worked very well, actually. Though I did somehow hurt myself.
Now that's strategy.
I'm not sure how, but I did.
Plans are now underway to re-establish the defunct Martian division of our company. In an effort to fortify our position, we must put a halt to Zeomate. Your mission target is the...
Are you serious? That's twice in a row now that it hasn't retreated.
Given the size of the spaceship,
55% my ass.
Unreasonable and difficult. But by destroying...
Come on.
Putting the spaceship out of commission would be a devastating blow to Zeomatrix's interstellar transportation network.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
Raven detected. Get the transport out of here now.
How long do you want me to be out there?
Destroy transport before it can escape. Make sure you destroy the engine.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
Yes, I might be able to finish one more area today.
While conducting a survey in the Sven Iceberg area, one of our research teams made a remarkable discovery. A facility predating the Great However, the team we sent to secure the site was our reinforcements are being overwhelmed by the sheer number of enemy units. Head to the front should any of our units be damaged in the...
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
There's no time for small talk, Raven. Our situation looks bad. We need your help.
confirmed.
Destruction of all enemy entities confirmed. We're heading back to base.
Mission objective achieved. System switch to normal.
Due to the recent escalation in the Indies' terrorist activities, we will be increasing our efforts to suppress them. Please proceed to the group's Whiteland headquarters. Your objective is to seek out and destroy. The Indies are using the ruins as a storage depot, and destroy any supplies you come across. Doing so will not affect the success.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
AC detected. All units converge on the intruder.
Can you retreat this time, please, Gamma? Seriously.
Why do you want to retreat?
So I can grab an egg.
Can't you just carve it out of its corpse?
No. Seriously? Again?
Mission objective achieved. System switch to normal.
Yeah. Again, that's 3 in a row. It's 55% likely to retreat. 3 times in a row now.
So what you're saying, this is just Pokemon mischance.
That's so bullshit. But yeah, but it's worse. It's like missing hypnosis 3 times. Like it's unlikely to happen, but it's still dumb if it does. Anyway, back in a second.
We want you to return to the base and launch it. If the operation succeeds, the flow of weapons to and from.
Of course, someone joins to view it, but I'm like 8 minutes from finishing for the night.
Descend vertical passage to reach lower level.
I overshot that hole.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh, let's try again.
That was a horrible turn.
That seems to be the last one. Let's get out of here.
Mission objective achieved. System switched to normal mode.
What happened?
No, I just made a really, really stupid turn. I was trying to go forward. I somehow went left. Not somehow. I just hit the wrong button. You know. Let's hope that the next one is the last area. Is the last mission of this area.
We've lost contact with the advanced team that was sent to investigate the Sven Iceberg area of the Whiteland region. If judging from their last transmission, they encountered an enemy force consisting of MTs. If this is the case, we therefore request your assistance. Please.
Main system.
Oh my god, the snow filter isn't complete shit. Amazing.
Destruction of enemy forces confirmed. Nice job, Raven.
Mission objective
Finished it, but I'm
achieved.
pretty sure now that this was not the last mission here because it was too easy. Guess I'm gonna go a few minutes over time. Yeah, well. See what we got.
This is a rather unusual request. Numerous unmanned armored weapons of unknown origin have overrun our weapons storage facility. They're on a rampage, and we need assistance. Attempts have been made to remove them from the facility, but there are just too many. We're still trying to figure out where they're coming from. Our best guess is that it may be linked to relics recently discovered in the depths of the facility. We can't confirm this, but they don't seem to be the work of the corporations. In any case, we request that you proceed to the facility and destroy them all. Good luck.
Main system. Engaging combat mode.
There's no end in sight. Find the source of the problem and destroy it.
Finally, that's one.
System switched to normal mode.
Yeah, you got a white Manablos egg. Just need 2 more. Sorry, Gammoth egg, right?
Yeah.
How many Gammoths you need?
And just 2.
Good, you're halfway there.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be 4 fights every single time. That's just ridiculous.
Yep, and I finished the area, and I guess I'm going to call it for the stream today. Thanks for the one guy who came at the end. I apologize that I'm getting off now when you just started watching. But unfortunately, I have to go to bed to get to work in the morning. I have no clue how the hell Twitch works, but I'm assuming that once I cancel this, you can watch it from the start. Oh, good night.
Should be able to.
No idea.